So Warren's officially 2 shoes released, 2 pre-orders to go to fulfill, and Nike hits him with this lawsuit. Now, does that mean your pairs aren't on the way? Let's talk about it real quick, and let's talk about what exactly Nike's claiming and what they're asking for. Let's get into it. So in order to talk about what Nike's claiming that Warren Lotas has infringed upon, I'm bringing out right here 2020 Brazil dunk lows, not an SB, but it's still a dunk and it's still something that Nike's claiming, or I'll show you in a minute. And I'm also going to bring out Puss Heads 2005 or 2007, not sure anymore because they're just old as fuck, but an actual SB model that's being infringed upon with these newer colorways that Lotas is coming out with. All right, so all of the dunk models, all of the swooshes, everything that has to do with the life, the legacy, and what is Nike dunk lows is being infringed upon, or that's what Nike's saying when it comes to this actual lawsuit. Now, the lawsuit's going to be in the description down below if anyone ever wants to read or look into it. Examples of what Nike's showing and stuff like that. The actual counts themselves, and if you ever want to look up the counts, just go for it. What I'm actually going to focus on is for the prayer for relief that Nike's asking for. There's 12 counts total, but I'm only going to really talk about the one that might affect people who still haven't gotten pre-orders in. Now, this is all subjective. This is all still up to the courts and everything. We have to see and follow how this case goes. In my opinion, if you have a pre-order with Warren Lotas and you have not canceled in any way, shape, or form, I'd suggest you follow along and you make sure, like, you keep your eyes on the subject, because it's getting kind of tricky for Mr. Lotas. So we have seen screenshots and we have seen Warren Lotas himself saying, this is a big company attacking a small company. Everything I've done was original, yada, yada, yada. What Nike's basically saying is that Lotas himself has infringed upon not only the swoosh logo itself, which is a big no-no when it comes to Nike, but the actual shape and legacy of the dunk itself. Now, when it comes to that lawsuit, we have 5 total counts that are being brought. Trademark infringement, false destination of origin, trademark dilution, unfair competition in violation of the preservation and regulation of competition. And the 5th one is common law trademark infringement. Now, there's more details to it, and you can be more specific when you actually read the lawsuit yourself and look up the actual things that are being violated. But these are actually big details. Now, they added details to the lawsuit. Right here, I'm actually going to post a little picture they have in the lawsuit of the swoosh and the detailing that they're talking about. So I'm going to take the dunks lows out of the equation. Too similar to what Nike has been using for like their whole lifespan. Now, we have seen other designers, and we usually see stuff like Bapes with Bapestas, where they don't really have a swoosh, they have a star, which is Bapes' logo, and that usually gets kind of a pass. Even then, I don't think I've ever seen a pair of Bapes have a communal colorway like an existing SB has ever had. Like, you would never see Heineken-based Bapestas or stuff like that. I think that's what makes it just a little bit different of what Warren has done versus anyone else. And of course, Bape being an established brand based in Japan, and the patent laws are a little bit different in Japan. But since Lotas is here in LA, you gotta be subject to the law according to Nike. So the first count is Nike's with the swooshes, and the second count is, if I can bring this over here, is the actual dunk model and shape. Now, they're claiming not just the shape, but the imprint of what Nike represents, the actual sole. Now, we can tell right here, it's just an average copy and paste, and I kind of got to side with Nike here. When I usually see customizers or people that release, like, let's say Air Jordan 1s, like, let's say Fugazi, his one in the chamber Air Jordan 1s. Picture those right here. I know I usually mention them and people kind of got a little mad in the comments, like, you can't compare the two. Yes, these are way more detailed, 100% more detailed. I saw an actual picture of the sole, and he did change the sole, unlike Lotas over here. Lotas literally just put WL where a Nike logo would be. That's the theme around the whole shoe. Now, Lotas was saying he made his molds, he did all these, he made everything, the paneling, the stitching. But the more that goes on, it's a little less believable. It feels like a company just outreached to him and said, all right, pay a little bit extra and we can change our molds around. Something like that. Something along those lines is what I'm feeling happened here. Because you can't really call it a custom anymore if you're mass producing them. So we're gonna see the Jeff Staple approved Pigeon come out, if it comes out. So my worry here is with everything that Nike's claiming, the prayer for relief, number 4, and I'm gonna read it to you word for word, or semi-word for word. In order that Warren Lotas be required to deliver to Nike for destruction any and all shoes, apparels, digital files, packaging, printed graphics, promotional materials, business cards, signs, labels, advertisements, flyers, circulars, and any other item in any of their possession, custody, or control bearing the asserted marks and or confusingly similar marks. Like I said, this whole they're claiming two different things. Confusing marks with not just their iconic swoosh, but their iconic dunk silhouette. That is what they're saying. They're saying that WARN releasing these products in mass and in bulk is really hurting what they're putting out. A little funny part about this is when you compare the genuine dunks that Nike provides and the infringing products that they do in the claim, you'll see this little picture right here. And for these themselves, the Jasons, they didn't use the Jason sample that never released. They had to use actually Chicago's that just recent released. Now I'm thinking, if WARN would have stuck to just one shoe, a theme that makes sense, you know, Jason swoosh, Jason mask, Jason themed Nike dunk that never really released, he probably would have just been under Nike's radar, and that's that. But it's the fact that WARN went out of his way. He redid Heineken's, he redid STUSSY. He came out and he partnered with Jeff Staples to introduce the pigeon dunk. The actual product image for the pigeons is just what you see on StockX with his swoosh literally photoshopped over. But this is something WARN's actually always been accused of. His photoshops usually look better than the final product. That's what we saw with these, definitely. And the original photoshop for these versus what we received, there wasn't even supposed to be suede in the first one. That's crazy. So getting back on track, does this mean that if it goes to court, if Nike wins and that specific prayer is answered, does that mean any single product that hasn't been delivered or received yet, aka your STUSSY SBs, aka which they're not supposed to show up until December according to him. He mentioned that before the entire lawsuit. And then the actual pigeon staple. Those, if this all goes down, there's a chance you guys might not get those shoes whatsoever. And even these in Heineken's, you can't sell them anywhere anymore. If they're listed on eBay, they get taken down as a counterfeit product. People report them. Or Nike, since eBay is becoming more into the bigger shoe scene, it gets kind of self-reported. I don't know the deal there. And then the only real place you can really sell is grailed and person to person. But I think even grailed has its risks, because then if someone buys this off you, they can say, oh, the guy sent me a counterfeit item. And because of this Nike lawsuit, they're not wrong. They're not wrong at all. And you risk losing out the sale. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you're waiting for an actual order or pre-order, chime down below. Do you think you're honestly gonna get it? Do you think this is all gonna win over? Do you think Nike's gonna win for sure? Is Warren Lotas like standing? Is he gonna win this case? Is he the underdog in the situation? If not, feel free to share. I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. I'm gonna do one more video on these and I'll follow this case all together. I want to answer some people's concerns or comments about the quality of this shoe. I want to rephrase my original update. I'm gonna see you guys in that video. Peace.